Well, I tell you what, if it's a U-Haul, we can fit like 50 of you in there. Hey, guys, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know that Sunday night is a show called Succession, and then Power starts tonight, and y'all are interrupting my Sunday night watching Succession and Power?
You got DVR,
Are you taping it? Come on, Charles.
Wait a minute. Hold on a
DVR.
second. We're interrupting Succession and Power. How fitting are those show names for what we're talking about right now?
Great point. Great point.
Chuck, to be fair, Kenny was asleep in London, so you're a close second. Let me ask you about your reaction. LeBron to the Lakers, a lot of people thought that was a good possibility. Now it's a reality for 4 years. What's your reaction?
Not a shock at all. I mean, I was hoping he stayed in Cleveland, but I don't think it was a shock. We've been talking about it for 6 months, so I don't think it's a shock. But they got a long way to go. Paul George thing last night was good for Paul George. But what's going to be interesting, the Lakers, they're not going to trade, the Spurs are not going to trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers. Well, that would be just stupid. So it's going to be interesting what Magic is able to do. Whether I know they made some contact with DeMarcus Cousins, but if it's going to be interesting because, like I say, the Spurs would be stupid to give Kawhi Leonard and LeBron and play against them for the next 5 to 10 years. So that don't have any legs whatsoever to me. So. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in DeMarcus Cousins, or they might have to wait till next summer when Kawhi is free or some of those other guys free.
Charles, you know Magic well. What does it say about he and Rob Pelinka and that group, and as D.A. pointed out, Jeannie Buss, rightfully so, and their plan? Because clearly, hey, LeBron, we're in L.A., and you want to be in the movies and your kids live here is not going to be enough. What does this tell you about the plan that's in place and the direction that LeBron was sold by Magic?
Well, I don't think it tells me anything. I think the next piece is going to tell you. Listen, I think everybody assumed LeBron was going to the Lakers. I think he's older. He wants to be probably in sunshine to finish up his career. He's probably want to be a little bit more competitive. So LeBron, to me, was the easy piece. Now comes the hard piece. Losing Paul George. Now you got to wait a year more than likely if the Spurs aren't able to talk Kawhi into staying. I think, I'm not going to give him too much credit. That was the easiest part. I think everybody in the studio you're talking to, like, oh, okay, he was going to the Lakers. What's next? It's hot as hell everywhere.
We're joined by the holding back edition of Sir Charles. Chuck, obviously Philadelphia near and dear to you. The East is wide open now.
No, it's not.
It is without LeBron. It's not?
Well, listen, the East is gone. It was gone when LeBron stayed in the East. The Boston Celtics are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference for the next 10 years. They think about it. They took them to 7 games without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. So the Cavs were done anyway if LeBron stayed there. And I don't even know what they could do. They maybe could have traded Kevin Love and got some pieces. But it's all about the Boston Celtics now. And maybe the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, Chuck, I was going to ask you, if the Sixers do get Kawhi, and I know the reports are they feel like they have a legitimate chance to do so, if Kawhi Leonard became a member of the Sixers, do you put them with Boston, or you still don't think that's good enough to contend to win the East?
Well, see, that's what's interesting. I might put them a little bit ahead of Boston. It'll be a pick-em. But the tricky thing with Kyrie, you can't give up a lot and only get him for 1 year. I mean, you can't give that guy, you can't give up all your players and draft picks and Kawhi leaves after 1 year. But if the Sixers were able to get Kawhi, that would be a pick 'em series to me between the Celtics. and the 76ers.
Hey, Charles, this is Billy King. Next year, there are going to be a lot of teams, especially in the East, with money. And so Kyrie Irving's a free agent. Durant's free agent. Do you see some of those guys saying, wait a minute, all these guys in the West, I'm going to go East or go to New York or go to one of these teams because there's going to be so much money in the East and teams now without LeBron. Do you see a lot of those guys jumping ship coming East?
Well, I think what's happening, Billy, teams got to start making decisions now about who you pay. The Celtics are paying Gordon the max. Listen, we all agree Jason Tatum is coming fast. They got to make a decision on Marcus Smart. And it's going to happen with the Warriors in the next year or two. You can't pay everybody. You cannot pay everybody. And you're going to see now, and I think it's good, these guys say, wait a minute. Why am I giving y'all $20, $30, $40, $50 million discounts? No, that's not happening anymore. I tell these guys, you guys better make as much money as you possibly can because these teams going to make as much money as they possibly can. So, Billy, to answer your question, it all depends. You've been a general manager. You can't pay everybody. Draymond's already said, I'm not taking no pay cut anymore. You see Kevon said, hey, I want a 2-year max. And Klay's coming up. So you can't pay everybody. Boston, to me, is the most interesting team because, like I say, I'm paying Gordon. I got to make a decision on Smart. Al Horford's making the max. When Kyrie comes up next year, do I give him a max deal? Because I know a couple years later I got to pay Jalen or Tatum. So everybody can't get paid. So it's going to be interesting the next few years.
And I think Horford can opt out also next year as well. So he can be a free agent with Kyrie and Rozier.
Wow.
No, it's an incredible free agent crop. Yeah. Chuck, I'm wondering, DA has mentioned this as well, talking about Paul George and his decision to stay in Oklahoma City the way he did, and that it was the right fit for him there. Who do you look at now as the right fit? And the package that they sold Paul George in OKC, what it meant for him to stay there and what he was buying into. Who's the right fit and what are they buying into in Philadelphia? You know that market really well.
Well, the big elephant in the room is Markelle Fultz. Can he play or not? Because we already know that Simmons, Embiid, and Saric are going to be good. They're already good, and they upside is through the roof. Now, you got, like I say, I'm not there every day. I was totally shocked that folks didn't get any time in the playoffs. I mean, any time. So so I don't know what's going on with that situation. So to me, that's the Sixers ain't got to worry about but one thing: can Markelle Fultz play? Because if he can, you got three guys the number one pick in the draft. And you give me three guys who are the number one pick in the draft, my team should be good for the next 10 years. But the elephant in the room is Markelle Fultz. And like I say, I don't know because I'm not around those guys every day, but for a number one draft pick not to be able to get any time in the playoffs, you got to have some red flags. I mean, because he could have gave them some spot minutes somewhere in the playoffs, but they didn't give him any time.
Chuck, you can go back to finding out whether or not Ghost and Tommy get the right revenge on Power. Let me know what happens, all right?
Right now I'm in the middle of Succession. Power comes on at the top of the hour.
Okay.